What's up, everybody? Isaac here, Civil Engineering Academy. Excited to be with you on another podcast episode. Please like and subscribe to this stuff. It always helps us out. Share it with a friend. I'm sure you have another civil engineer out there you could share this with. But I'm excited. I would bring an awesome guest. Her name's Pei Huang. She is a doctor. She earned her degree from the University of Utah after transferring from a country, China, in the southern part of China. She transferred to the University of Utah, earned her doctorate, and has been able to kind of follow her passion into a career path that she likes. And she has a fascinating journey that she wants to share that I try to get her to share with us. And I think there's tons of little tidbits of information and tips that you would find useful in your own career, including trying to find your own passion and what's going on to level up in your life. So she has found her way into the world of transportation engineering, but her background really is in wastewater. And now she works for a private equity firm doing some fun stuff with Unified Business Alliance. So she also does real estate on the side. It's a fascinating story, and she has all kinds of tidbits of good advice in here. So if you are on this journey to become a civil engineer or just want to hear about another person's journey into this world, I think you're really going to enjoy this interview with Pei, and I know I enjoyed it, and it's going to be coming up right after this. We'll see you in a minute. All right, we're live and running. Pei, thanks for joining me on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. I appreciate you doing this with me.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for that, and I'm ready to chat. Start.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're actually both in Utah. We just discovered that, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I think we should meet sometime for lunch, or whenever you go to a conference or some meeting, let me know. We probably can meet there.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I always start these out. I love to hear your background. How did you find yourself in this world of civil engineering, and what do you do right now?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit long. Let me make it a little bit short.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in southern part of China. When I was a kid, I just feel like I don't know what I want, and I only know that I'm good at math, physics, and chemistry. But I don't really know, what I want to be after I grow up. So in China, I mean, the educational system is a little bit different. We have to spend a lot of time on academia in order to get to a good college after graduating from high school. So that's what I did. So I don't really have other experience outside school. So when I get the admissions, my dad actually helped me to choose a major. So he said, he just think environmental engineering is the future, because he was developing manager at one of the pretty big company in my hometown. So he said everything they need to do have to go through environmental permitting stuff. So he said, well, that's definitely something that you should consider and you should do. So I started that. I went to college like in China, and again after graduating, when I about to graduate, I still don't really know what I want, but I know that I want to go to the U.S. to study for master. That's the only thing I know. I want to do that. So I got admission to University of Utah, and this is a little bit different, the school system. So environmental engineering, back to the college I attended, it's under the chemistry and biology department. But in here, environmental engineering, it's under civil engineering department.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I get to know a little bit about civil. But after I graduated, my first job actually it's R&D engineer in kinds of responsible for developing the product for wastewater treatment plant. So I did it. I think I enjoyed it. I love it. And then I got my PE. And then I just think maybe I should explore for consultant. And then I got a job into a consultant company. I would say it's a small to medium size of company. But I started as a drainage engineer. And then I feel like it's not challenging enough. So I went to the transportation group next to it and say, hey, can I be the transportation engineer? And then the managers say, yeah, sure, we are always busy. And then you can get to exposed to different disciplines. So you can understand the more variety of the project. And at that time, the project I got into, it's from small to mid-size project. So it's like under a few millions dollar construction cost project or something like that. And then I feel like, well, I want to see how the mega projects looks like. Then I got, another opportunity and then to switch to another company. It's pretty big. It's an international global company. And then I started working on, as a transportation, as a civil engineer, but working on like more than a couple hundred, I would say more than $20 million project and start that time. And now I ended up into this small startup firm. It's called Adrian's Architecture, Engineering, and Design Company. I'm back to startup company and then working on small size of project, and myself oversee the whole project and and doing like provided engineering service for the builder, small business to finish their site plan and get permit, construction permit, building permit for those clients. So that's what I'm pretty much do right now.
Wow, that is quite the journey.
Right. I call it like, I start like a dot, and then now I feel like I kind of, connect those dots a little bit now. We can get to that, but I feel like I got all of the experience, can mix up and that's what I'm doing right now. Can you really pick up the pieces from what I was before?
No, that's great.
Guys, that's interesting. Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit to when you were in school. So you ended up getting a PhD. And
right. Oh, I forgot to mention about that. Yes, I do. I had that.
So you got your PhD in civil engineering?
Yes. It's in civil environmental engineering, specialized in wastewater treatment.
Okay. So what was your approach? Why did you want to get your PhD? Because there's a lot of students out there that will go and get their bachelor's. Maybe they'll get their master's if they want further education. But a lot of value is brought in by that PE license, and they never really want to reach a PhD or get to a PhD. So I'm just curious, what was your mindset into earning or achieving your PhD?
Well, when I doing my master, I just got the opportunity to can work with Siemens technology. It's still called Siemens that time, but it was bought by Evoqua. This is another pretty big wastewater treatment equipment company now. But at that time, I got the opportunity can work with the senior project manager, kind of testing their product and see, if that product can really work or there's any other thing they can improve. So that's my master research. So when the time I did a lot of things, and then my advisor said, well, what you have done actually can be a PhD already. So you just need to spend a couple more years times and then, write some paper on it, and you can get a degree, and probably that time you can get a better job, something like that. So I on my mindset at that time, it's like what I said, I still not sure what I want to be that time. I spent too much time on school and then didn't really think about what's outside the world. So path. Yeah, the career path, all of that. That's why actually the mentorship it's really really important. We can get to that point later, but yeah, I just don't know what I want, and then I said, well, now I just halfway there. Let me just finish it and see what happened. And also, I think that time the job marketing wasn't that great for civil engineering, because one of my friends, she spent a lot of time like finding a job. So I was a little bit afraid, and then I say, well, if that's where I am right now, like let me finish it and see what happens. So that's pretty much the journey, the reason
That's
why
impressive.
I finished that.
So
I guess maybe the main thing is that I don't have many choices, or I didn't explore other choices. I just feel like I just need to finish it, so I finish it.
that's good. So could you take us back to when you got your PE license? Was it while you were still in school, or you had your PhD, or what was the time, or were you working? What was the time frame on getting your PE?
I started working when I preparing the PE. Well, as a PhD, actually in Utah, you don't have to pass the FE. That's the part of the state requirement. But I did actually. I passed that when I was in school, just because I feel like that's a lot of value about that. So since I'm study it that time, so I just like, why don't I just go ahead and do the FE? And then after I got a job, and then I immediately prepare working on the PE. And at that time, I was like pregnant and about to have a baby. So yeah, I just spent a lot of time working. And also when the time you're working, actually, that's really helpful. Also, I feel like, because when you're out of school, you probably will forget about things here and there, but when you're preparing the test, it's really help you to bring out those memory back together.
That's good advice. Always love to ask people their journey on passing the PE. Were you able to get that done then the first time you took it? And did you take it in transportation?
Yes, I did. I passed it the first time, but I didn't do it in transportation. I did it in environmental engineering. It's a little
Oh,
bit
wow.
different. I don't know how different right now, but at that time, it's like I don't need to do the general civil engineering set. It's all about environmental. So I remember when I prepared that, I think I'm really good at taking the exam. In general speaking, I think exam, there's some trick, on that. Like you don't have to really finish, like say, that many books of the exercise, and you can pass it, but you need to study smart. I would say that. And my strategy for preparing PE test is, well, again, I don't know how different with what we have right now. I think for environmental engineering, they all changed to computer based now, and then you can
Hmm.
schedule whenever you want. But when I was taking that, it's only like still only have 2 times a year.
Paper based.
But yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, but I think right now should be still the same. The agency still will give you a guideline for all of the category or the subject that what's happening in the exam, right? So take the environmental engineering as example. So basically, there's a few things I still remember. Like you need to know about hydraulics, like water, surface water quality stuff. You need to
Hmm.
know water pollution, air pollution, solid waste. So there's a bigger category, but in each bigger category, you need to know that what kinds of key point you need to learn from that. So just take as water as example. You need to know that you will definitely, the question will coming from water quality, hydraulics, and also like your drinking water and
Hmm.
sewer, and then also it will also have some drainage, stuff. And then each small category, you need to know should be have a 3 to 4 formula that you will need to use very often. But you should have that idea when you see the question there. there's a few, formula. You don't have to remember. I guess you still can, have some reference on your side or something, but you need to immediately in your mind, you need to know that, okay, there's a few formula you're supposed to use. If you don't, you probably miss something, or
Right.
there's something like say back to the times like we still use the suitcase stuff like to carry all of the reference book.
Oh
You
yeah.
need to know like in that book, in that section of the book, it's about this category. You should have that I would say library or bookshelf in your mind, like where to grab those knowledge from. So
That's right.
but that's the basic structure you should have in your mind. Then you can go to do practice, and then practicing it to open that shell in your mind, and then take out the those information out there, then use that to solve the question. So am I telling a little bit crazy, but I mean that's just on my mind. I mean
No, that's
all of the
good advice.
technology, strategies to use.
So I'm curious, just because I don't know, but back in your home country, what's an equivalent to like the PE exam? Do they have to go through a similar process over there to become some sort of professional engineer, or
Yeah.
how does that
Yeah,
work over there?
it's a similar, but I think it's a few step. So like PE, it's more like senior, like engineer, that kinds of time. So you have,
Mhm.
but every level they have a test also. Like say more junior or and then median level, they have the test. So you need to pass those tests. I think it's also difficult. It also need to um get a lot of information, remember a lot of things
Mm.
and stuff. And then experience also, yes, it's also very one of the stuff people will take a look in order to grant you that license too. So similar, but
What's the license called? What is that license?
I think it's still called professional engineer. I mean, it's like translate to English.
Okay.
But it's have a different level behind it.
Okay. I just was curious. I wasn't sure how that worked. So,
Yeah, but I
anyway,
heard it's hard too.
good tips on passing the PE exam. I'm curious in this whole journey that you've had, what challenges that maybe you have had in becoming an engineer. I know, women in engineering, at least in the United States, there's not as many. And so have you had any challenges that you have faced at becoming a professional civil engineer and even in the workplace?
Well, I would say I'm very lucky. I in the beginning of my career, it's more like a culture barrier to me rather than
Hmm.
just challenge or general speaking the challenge for women in civil engineering side. It's more like culture wise barrier, like culture different, because when I was sitting in the same room with a colleague or with client, like I feel like yes, it is a lot of more male engineer than female, of course, but I mean they're like super nice, and just sometimes they will talk about politics or sports. I just feel like, oh, I don't know, but they're really nice. And then it's just I feel like it's okay to say I don't understand, I don't know, and then they
Hmm.
they will still explaining to me. Um, I just another thing I along my when I have more working experience, I feel like it's I have challenges on like time management wise. I feel like maybe as a women, a female engineer, maybe we'll feel that more because we want to spend more time with family, with kids, when you have a kid, like that. And but on the other hand, it's like we really want to prove ourselves we can do a lot of work, and so I think the challenge it's like that, but I learned that it's okay that you can say no sometimes.
Yeah.
you feel like overwhelming, you don't have to say you don't have to do everything yourself. You need yeah, I think it's just easier or it's better for women to realize that it's not that easy for us to realize because we really want to prove ourselves and then we want to be do everything ourselves and then good at everything too. It's I some feel like it's kind of a challenge for us to really relies on others or like say pass along things to other people and then just wait for them to finish
Right.
because we really wanted to do it great and do it perfect. I think that's the natural. I feel like this is kind of natural things in
Oh,
as a
yeah.
female engineer.
I'm
So
curious, what was a surprise to you culturally in being here? You mentioned that there's conversations that people want to help you and stuff like that. Was that a surprise to you that, or is that a cultural difference, or are there other differences? I'm curious what those differences are.
well, I think yes, it's not like surprise. It's just like because I'm not born here. There's a lot of story or it's a lot of really common things like I just don't know.
Uh,
And then but I it's just for me it's just communication is the key no matter what is it's like it's in just cultures wise different
mhm.
and we can I just have to bring it up like because people will feel like probably I understand probably I know but actually I do not and then maybe they making some joke I didn't really get it. I was just like, I feel like maybe I should do it, but they say, "Oh, sorry about that. Actually, I didn't mean to do it." But you just have to have a better communication, and then also, on the work wise, it's the same thing. Like if you feel like there's something wrong in between, just have to talk. I guess you
Yep.
just have to bring it up, and then make it. Maybe you don't have to talk about that in the meeting. You can, grab people and talk about that on site, and just get to understand each other. I think that's like the key, to get your works done or have a, better understanding the project is all of them. I think
That makes
communication is
sense.
very, very important.
What would you think are some strategies or initiatives that maybe would help attract more women into this field of civil engineering? And on top of that, did you have a mentor that helped you into this world of civil engineering, and how important are mentors?
Well, I guess let's say your last second question about the mentoring. I think it's very important. That's I didn't realize in the beginning, just like what I said. I feel like I don't know what I want to become and what's my dream, what is my future should looks like. But I don't have I didn't think about I need to talk about that with people's or find a mentors about that. So I feel like I missed a lot of things, and then one day I just realized probably it's okay to find somebody talk about that. So I started to having just short conversation with people in different position, this different discipline. I even love to scheduling, one-on-one with my manager or my skip level manager, or even, other people in other department. Like I always do that. And also I feel like, they can give you all tons of advice, which is can really help me to get through a lot of doubts, a lot of questions I have. And also it's you don't have to maybe you don't have to find like a person or from your network. I feel like it can be anyone. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, when you go to just lunch and learns and people like from even I love to go to I don't know you know about that we have Silicon Slope in Utah in Lehigh. They have pretty much every week they have lunch and learn. So they will kind of invited like a business owner, or or somebody from a startup tech company, and talked about their journey. How do they become who they are right now? And then people can ask questions. I mean, for those people like that, you probably may not have a chance to see them second times, but actually what they talk about, what the advice they given to people, it's really valuable. I got a lot of inspiration, a lot of energy from those things like that. And you don't really have to talk to them all the time. Like, for example, there's one of the advice you probably don't understand that time when you ask them, write it down. And after a few months, after even a couple years, when you look at that, you will get it that time, and then you probably will feel that's like really a valuable experience. I mean, advice they gave. Just for example, I went to that lunch and learn things last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the guy just say, hey, asking the speaker, what's the best advice you have ever given in your life? And then he said, the best one he have is don't follow your dream, follow the opportunity. So I don't know what does it mean. Like, and then now I know, like, when I try a lot of different things, and then just it's really like follow the opportunity. Then when I get to who I am right now, I feel like this is like really natural, and really get to the point like who I want to become right now. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just a lot of things like that. Oh, sorry. What's your first question? I feel like I have too much want to share about a mentorship.
I think my first question is, what if you could come up with maybe a strategy, or what are some tips that maybe you would believe that would help attract more women into this industry?
Yeah. I think, our industry, civil engineering, it's a great industry because it helped to build a community. Really, all of the things we are building, we are designing, as a people can use for every day. Like really can change people's lives. So this is like really, really important and really interesting too. And I would say as a girl, as a woman, just don't afraid. If you don't think about too much, and then just do what you want to do, and then because you can always change it. Like if you feel like you start it, you don't like it, it's never too late to change it. I feel like, we have a lot of things need to consider, especially after you have a kids, and then you feel like, oh, I need to worry about this and that. But to be honest, I feel like just do what you want to do, and then you will be, and then focus on it, and then being consistent, and then definitely you will be successful.
Good tips, good advice. I love it. You mentioned kids, you're busy, you have this job. How do you balance all of this? How do you balance your professional responsibilities with all of these other aspects of your life, including your personal interests?
Yeah, well, I have to admit that there's no work-life balance for me. Well, I'm a full-time civil engineer, yes, and then I have full-time moms of 2 kids, and then also I'm doing part-time realtors on the site too. Well, this just
how did you sneak that in?
we can probably talk about that later. But I mean, for this work-life topic, I believe that there's the only work-life choice, or maybe I should say priority. Maybe it's more precise. You just have to know like what is your priority. If you feel like, okay, now maybe in my 20s, I feel like I'm young, I want to like put a lot of times on work. So that time, you work hard, you work overtime. Like if that's what you think it's your priority, just go for it. And then sometimes, like, for some people, they may think, health, it's their most priority. So switch, your times to spend more times on how to get you healthier, how to, spend more time to go to the gyms and or cook healthy food. Yeah, so if you think, family, it's more important than others, yes, make times for your family. So definitely just that's really depends on your priority, I would say.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And there's probably times and seasons, right? So
Yep.
when you're focused on school, you're doing school. And when kids maybe come into the picture, you figure out a way to balance all of that all together. So good tips. Well, is there any other pieces of advice you'd like to leave with us, or even young engineers that were in your boat? They were confused which path they wanted to go. Is there any last second tips you'd leave with them?
Well, I would say just try it as a young engineer. Like sometimes you probably don't know what you're good at. Just like, my first job, I got into a lot of sales stuff. I do cold call. I did cold call every week, but I never think about I can do it, especially with my strong accent. That's like I'm very afraid to do that. But actually, it's really opened another door for me. I now that's why I can get into the real estate stuff, and then now I starting to do more and more like business development and marketing stuff.
Wow.
So I will say, as a young engineer, just go try everything. Just grab all the opportunity you can, and then explore it. And then if you like it, just be the expert of it. But if you already have a lot of experience, you know what you like, what you don't like. And then at that time, probably you just focus on something you like. If you already know that this is not, for example, go to mid-client business development, it's not your time. You don't want to do it. You just want to focus on design. Yes, of course. I mean, it's one of the great career paths for you too. But when you're young, I would say try everything you can.
I love it. Well, I have to ask before we close this, what was the drive to get the real estate license and doing real estate too? Did you do that on the side?
Yeah. So the biggest reason is when we bought our first home, I feel like the real estate is like really a black box. The agent we work with she didn't do much thing. I feel like it's like everything is like we go what we want, and then she probably will say, "Oh, this is good." So, and then I was feel like, "Oh, there's a lot of things missing. I want to understand, all of everything behind it." So that's why I just got the license
save some money.
And save some money, and then started. And then, but the more I get into it, I feel like this is like very interesting things. You get to understand more. Like for example, I now I understand the financial side of, like, even as a project, like you get a little bit sense about the financial side of that and how to do transaction, how you connect with people, how to talk to people. That's really, really helps a lot with that. And also I'm also doing a lot of things as a project manager right now. So which just means like I need to cooperate in a lot of people from different disciplines, and then that's the real estate part really helped me also to prepare that, I would say, because in order to successfully close a real estate transaction, you need to work with client, you need to work with title company, appraiser, just tons of people in between. So it's also different backgrounds. So that's really helped me to get to that too. And also right now, some of my clients, they are builders, business owners, and land developer. Like, get to understand the real estate. It's also very benefit for me for my current job too.
Makes you more well-rounded in understanding all these different aspects of a job.
Right.
So that's neat. Yep. Well, this has been fascinating, Pei. Thank you for sharing all this information, getting to know you better, and the tips that you've shared with us. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, what would be a good way for that to happen?
or just connect with me in LinkedIn.
Perfect.
I think that's more sufficient. Yeah. So don't afraid to send me a message. I will reply actually. I mean, that's another thing I would tell the young engineer too. Just don't afraid to ask question. I feel like when I was in like a career fair, people drop me the resume, but they never follow up. But I did tell them, say, hey, I probably will get a lot of resume. I maybe get lost. So please reach out, check in with me. Few times I would say, then I will definitely get back with you. But some of them didn't do it. Maybe they already got a better opportunity. But yeah, just don't afraid to reach out.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you, Pei, for doing this with me. I really do appreciate it, and we'll stay in touch in the future.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
See ya.